Hey everybody, welcome to the That Hit Deep podcast. I'm your host Christian Alpin. These are my co-hosts Campbell Winter
What up, baby?
and Bryce Murness.
What's up?
So today's episode is talking about mental health, teen mental health in specific. Bryce, I have a question for you.
What's up?
How big of a problem do you think teen mental health is right now?
I feel like it's a very big problem, and in the past year, it's really grown to be a major problem.
Yeah.
But it's almost to the point where nobody takes it seriously.
Yeah.
Facts.
100% agree with that. I feel like, and honestly, with COVID and everything, I feel like it's gotten 10 times worse. Like you said, in the past year, it's gotten so much worse. People are just lonely in their houses, you know what I mean? They can't get out and talk to their friends as much as they wanted to, go to events.
Yeah, and
whatnot.
being lonely is like one of the biggest parts of that.
Yeah.
Because like being alone sucks.
Yeah, dude, like the 2 weeks I was in quarantine, it sucked.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Me and you both got quarantined for like school
Yeah.
and everything.
At the same
And just
time.
not seeing people in school made me really sad.
Mhm.
I mean,
And the worst part is like watching people out having fun.
Yeah.
And then you're over
Yeah.
here like sitting on the sideline, like,
and I feel
nice.
like, you know, I haven't really, I feel like that also can like factor into like when you get a job.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna
You're
get-
working and everybody
That-
else is out.
seriously.
Yeah.
The thought of once you get a job, there's no going back, you know? Because like I haven't had like a summer, like I have like a middle school summer,
Yeah.
you know? Like, you know, those middle school summers, it's like you guys are hanging out every day. And then once you get a job, none of your schedules line up.
I feel like when you're growing up in general is when it really hits you.
Mm-hmm.
You
For
know?
sure.
When you realize that you're growing up and you can't have these memories. We talked about this in a previous episode, the good old days.
Yeah.
But when you're growing up and you can't have these memories anymore, you know, the summers where you just used to hang out with your friends, go biking and whatnot, it really hits you.
Yeah, it's that instant moment of realization.
That there's no going back.
Yeah, and you get really depressed. And on the topic of depression, I feel like it's getting normalized to have depression,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be normal.
Yeah, people aren't taking it seriously. They see somebody with depression, they're like, "Oh, you'll grow out of it."
Yeah,
You know.
or just say like, oh, you have depression. Well, I mean that's normal. Everyone has depression at some point.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, oh, you have depression, they should be like, okay, I'm gonna help you. Let's get this treated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's talk about
Let's
it.
talk about it. Let's get you a therapist. You know, let's do the best we can do.
Or even just being a friend and just being there for
being there for
somebody that has depression. That's really big, and it's a really big impact on people that have it.
quite literally a life changer.
Yeah.
I mean, that can literally save someone's life, just being there for someone. But that also goes back to the being alone. You know, when you're alone, you don't really have many people to talk to, and well, you have no one to talk to.
See,
Nobody.
I feel like platforms like Snapchat and Instagram and stuff like that's helped to interact with people around you, but that's also increased the problem, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's easy for me to just text Christian or call him and talk to him that way.
Yeah.
But also the social media platforms of what's made the problem what it is too.
Of course, yeah. I mean, with the growing technology we have, it's no wonder that depression is becoming worse and worse. You know, with the technology we have right now, there's more ways to, you know, bully people. I want to say,
Yeah.
it's kind of, it's getting ridiculous how it's spiking so much and how little people care so little about it. And like no one's talking about this. No one's talking about how big of a problem it is, and they should be talking about this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's such a big. If you're gonna, I mean, people need someone to talk to. You should give them an outlet to talk to, or at least offer them help or something. And you know, I kind of, my parents are divorced. You guys know that.
Yeah.
Growing up alone has really affected me. I'm not gonna lie. For a while, I was really depressed because I would just come home and I'd come home, sit in my room all day, and I'd have no one to talk to. You know, my mom works late. My brother, it really hit me when my brother left for college.
Yeah. So is that where you think it really kicked in?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that just goes back to the being alone.
Being alone. I had no one to talk to anymore. Noah, my brother's my best friend. And without talking to him, it really hit me. Like I'd come home, I have no one to talk to. I would sit in my room until my mom would come home from work, and I'd hardly talk to her, and then I'd go to bed. Like I'd sit in my room on my phone all day, right after work, or right after getting home from school. Just sit on my phone, do nothing. No one would text me, you know. Of course, I had my friends, but at the time, you're like, does anyone really want to talk to me?
Yeah, and then that causes a problem because then you don't reach out to others.
Yeah, you don't reach out to others, and you want them to reach out to you, you know. And it really sucks. It really, really sucks when you think you have no friends, when you think no one else can reach out to you, and then you're just there alone.
It hits deep.
See, I'm not really that person to go out of my way to invite people. Like I'm always worried about inviting myself, so that's why I never invite other people.
Yeah, me too.
Exactly how
And I've gotten over that habit a little bit, but
yeah, and
that was my biggest worry.
I remember me and my friend Ben, we were talking about this when we were walking one time, and we're like talking about how we wanted to see, and it was funny because we were both at the same time, we were both like, you know, I kind of just stopped asking people to hang out with me because I just want to see who would hang out. Like, who would ask me to hang out with them.
And that's when you find
when you realize that
your real friends.
Who your real friends are. And me and Ben talked about that we walked and talked for like 2 hours.
Those are always the best.
Those are
when you walk and talk to some of your best friends.
They hit deep.
Bro, it's like those 3 a.m. conversations, you know, where you're just like tired and you're just saying what's on your mind. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any experiences, Bryce?
With depression?
Depression, yeah.
Yeah, depression really hit me like when my mom died.
Yeah.
But it didn't just hit me, like it hit like all my siblings too. So I guess having siblings kind of helped me cope with it though, because I had people to talk to, like my brother. I remember we'd sit in his room and we just talk for hours about, you know, about how we felt and ways that we could maybe be there for each other. And I think that played like a really big part in
really helps
me. I still do struggle with depression, like every once in a while, because when I get that feeling of being alone, but it also like helps me to know that I have people there for me.
Yeah.
And also with my depression comes anxiety. So like I'll get really shaky and start having these anxiety attacks, and that sucks. But then again, going back to it, I have the most amazing friends ever. I have a pretty big friend group, I could say now. And I love every single one of them because they're all there for me.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah. When you talk about your family and everything, I feel like if depression hits one person in the family, it probably hits multiple people. Like something,
especially with something like a parent dying.
Yeah, divorce. That was my big one. I think
divorce hits a lot of people. I know that because I've spoke to people who
hit me really hard. You know?
Talk about you and your brother.
Yeah, so
the divorce.
It hit me and my brother really freaking hard. I'm not gonna lie. My brother probably harder. Just because he was a little bit older than I am. He's 4 years older than me. I was like 6 when they got a divorce. He was 10, you know. So when they got a divorce, I was quiet about everything. I kept it all inside. That did not help me at all. I didn't talk to anyone. And I think that's what hit me the most about it, was just because I never talked to anyone. And I wanted to stay strong for my brother, so I didn't say anything at all to anyone. I kept it inside for years. And my mom always talked about how, I love my mom, by the way. She always talked about how I was like a quiet kid, and I never really talked about my feelings that much. And I think the divorce played a big factor in that. For Noah, some of you guys may not know this. Noah has suffered with depression for a while. He also has OCD that came with it. Noah has been suffering with depression since high school, and that was a stem from the divorce. And then his OCD came around college, and basically his OCD is he obsesses over religion, and he got this thought in his head that he's not doing enough for God, and that he will never do enough, and that he can't do enough for God, and that he's going to go to hell. So he had this thought in his mind that he was going to hell and that he can't do anything about it, right? And he would sit in his room for hours on end reading the Bible. And I'd come in his room when COVID hit, this was a really bad time for Noah too. He got let off his job at Textron, and he, just because they couldn't supply with that much workers.
Yeah.
He got let off his job, so he came home for a while. And, he would sit in his room and just read the Bible because he had nothing else to do. And he would, I'd come in his room every other day, and, he'd still be reading his Bible. And he did that the whole time during that COVID quarantine until he got his new job. But a lot of people, antidepressants, they help people. They also might not help you. Depends on the situation. Depends on how severe your depression is. But for my brother, it helped a lot. He wasn't on his antidepressant. He wasn't on his medication for a long time. And he went to this group, and they told him that medicine was bad for him. It was evil. It was Satan's drug.
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
And that if he takes it, he's going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
It was Satan's drug, and he shouldn't take it.
And with religion being his...
And with him obsessing over religion, I don't think these
That
people...
probably scared him.
Yeah, I don't think these people, knew Noah had the OCD, pure OCD. I don't think they knew about it. So Noah would literally obsess over this, and he wouldn't take this medicine because he thought it was the devil's drug, and that he could never take it.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, he found out that it was phony, these people were lying to him. And he got put on medicine, and he's a different man. He's 100% better.
Mm-hmm.
Campbell, you're really good friends with my brother.
Yeah, I would talk to him when we'd play Xbox together, and sometimes he'd be just guys, I gotta go, and then he would disappear, and I wouldn't talk for 2 days.
Yeah.
And then he'd come back and be like, "Oh, hey guys," and as if it
Nothing
never
happened.
happened,
Yeah.
He would go through those episodes for a couple days and just wouldn't talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Did you ever walk into his room and he'd yell at you to leave or something like
Yeah.
that, or just would he just not talk to you or anything?
I would walk in his room, he'd be reading his Bible, look up at me, and then look back down, and I'd just leave because he wouldn't want me interrupting him while he was reading his Bible.
Could you hold a conversation, or what would happen there?
He wouldn't talk to me. There's literally points where Noah wouldn't eat.
That's not
He
good.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
He had these fasts that he'd go on, and he wouldn't eat when he was reading. It's really freaking sad. And seeing your sibling go through that, dude, is the worst feeling ever. I can't imagine what he was going through, but for me, watching that sucked.
Mm-hmm.
It really hurt.
And it really changes your perspective on things when it's not just you going through it, but when you can see other people going through it, and you can see how much it hurts them and the pain that they're going through, and you just know that you can help, but there's not 100% things that you can do.
Yeah, there's the fact that you can't do anything.
You can't put yourself in those footsteps. you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
And the worst part is seeing a before and after of them, before they kind of went through their episodes or whatever,
And
and
then
then
after,
during,
Yeah.
while they're going through it, and you can
During.
just see the change and how different
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah,
That's what gets me.
it really sucks. On that note, I think we're gonna go to intermission. So, thank you guys for listening so far. We'll talk to you in a bit. Be right
Right.
back.
Peace.
Peace. Hey everybody, welcome back. We just got back from our intermission.
Yeah, I kind of want to start this topic off with
Alright.
Bryce. Bryce, tell us a little bit more about your story and how that impacted you and your family.
Or just you personally.
Yeah, and you personally.
So I did touch a little bit about my family, but me personally, I've struggled with depression for the past 4 years because of my mom, my mom dying. And it's been hard because I think her dying really gave me a fear. And we talked about that fear. It's being alone.
Yeah.
And I've struggled with that for so long. And it's it's one of the major reasons why I'm so depressed and I get depressed. So I usually get depressed when I'm like just by myself in my room. It'll just hit me out of nowhere. Like one moment I can be happy and sitting out in the living room with my friends, and the next moment I'll just walk into my room and sit there in silence and just be by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to talk to anyone really.
Yeah.
Your
It's
social-
just like a wall.
Your
of
social
just-
filter just
Yeah.
turns off.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's,
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I haven't really talked to a lot of people about it except for like my brother, because he struggled with the same thing, but you know, he's a lot better now, so that's good. But me personally, I still definitely struggle with depression and anxiety a lot because of that.
Yeah. I got a question. Do you have like these really high highs and these are just low lows? Like, is it how
So,
you
like-
would explain it? Like you have these really good, you
really-
feel really, really good,
And then I just
and they just shut down.
yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Is it when something's brought up about your mom, or is it just out of nowhere, like with no context?
It doesn't even need to be about my mom. It's like just the fear of somebody leaving me when things get like when things are good.
Kind of like a fear of abandonment.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that.
Yeah. I
a
get,
feeling that I'm gonna be alone, and there's nothing I can do about it except sit here and be by myself.
And just watch it happen. There's nothing. Yeah,
I-
I can see exactly how you feel.
And it's like it hurts so much.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this is like one of the more like difficult things for me to talk about, because I have not been open about my depression for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I kind of feel that with like relationships.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that.
Yeah.
When I get into I mean, a lot of times like I get really sad, you know, about being alone. I feel that really, like I
Mhm.
really, and I think part of it for me stems from the divorce. My fear of abandonment. You know, I don't want to be left alone. I don't want to be abandoned by someone.
Mm-hmm. Watching
So-
that happen is like you fearing that it's gonna happen to you.
When I get into a relationship, I'm like really attached.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you know, I've been told that, you know, I get attached
Get
quickly.
attached
but,
too quickly, but
but it's like, you know, we can't help it.
yeah, exactly.
It just goes along with this fear, and
Because you don't want them to leave.
Mhm.
it's the only way we know.
And
Yeah.
exactly. I feel that so much.
So I've you guys know that I've been in a couple relationships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when those have came to an end, it's been like really hard. And the only
100%.
way, like, you know, I've always wondered like, how do people deal with like breakups and stuff, and it's just like you gotta push.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen things where you gotta push. I've seen things where you gotta just let it sulk. You know,
Sulk.
you know what I mean?
Soak.
That's
Or what do you mean?
that's
So
how
like sulk in your
sulk in your
sadness and
Oh, okay.
But
See-
I personally just try to keep my mind straight, and just like not that long ago, I'm not gonna say when, but not that long ago, when I told you I was having my anxiety attacks and this depression was hitting me, I kept in the back of my mind. I keep talking to myself, because there's nobody else there for me to talk
Yeah.
to. And it's different. Like, you can text people on your phone and you can think that, you know, it's going to help. But sometimes you need somebody there
Mhm.
in person to actually hug you and tell you that
texting-
everything's going to be
texting
okay.
doesn't do justice at all.
Do you? And they talk about love languages. Is one of yours physical touch?
Yeah.
That's a big one for me, and that
Mhm.
also comes with the abandonment thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just because I'm afraid of abandonment, and then when you leave me, and I can't like hug you or anything for a while, it scares me.
Mhm.
Like I think you're
I'm-
gonna leave me.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of have bad like separation issues and like
Yeah, kind of a separation
like
anxiety.
I don't even know what to call it. Trust issues. I have really
Yeah.
bad trust issues when it comes to that. It's just so worrisome, you know, like the constant fear. And like you said, of just being abandoned, you know, like 1 minute they can be gone just because you, like, I don't even know how to put it into words, but you kind of know what I mean.
Yeah, like that seriously stems from the divorce, and then also just growing up alone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just growing up in your room with no one to talk to. And what I'm afraid of mostly is when I'm not in a relationship, how, like, I'm going to be so alone. Like, I feel like I have
Exactly.
no one else to talk to. And I feel like you have your friends. Yeah, you have your friends, of course. But when you talk to people about how you want to be in a relationship because you don't want to be alone, they don't understand what the feeling of loving someone, like, really does to someone, especially when it comes to abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can love your friends, but it's nothing like a relationship. And I
Yeah.
know I'm young,
Just-
and I shouldn't be speaking about love and whatnot, but I mean, it really is, like, that's how I feel, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
there's some things I can't talk to Christian about, but just knowing that there's somebody else there that's always there, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, that's what does it for me.
Yeah.
Relationships.
And just the fear of that could disappear in an hour, you know. Like
relationships
gets me.
like play a big part into
Of
some people's
depression.
depressions,
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
and it's added on to mine sometimes,
Yeah.
you know, and it's
Even-
made things really bad, you know.
even just being in one
Being in a relationship, if it's bad, it can
be mentally
it could
exhausting.
and drain you.
Yeah.
It could drain you to the point where you don't
And
have the desire
Mental
to
capacity
yeah.
to keep going. You know?
I've had that experience, you know. There's some times when I feel really bad for some of the people I've dated just because I haven't been able to put my all into a relationship. Just because scheduling, it's hard. But it's like I'm so attached to this person, I can't leave them. And it's at the same time I want to stay with them, you know. But I sometimes I just can't because it's scheduling, because I work, because I have, you know, I do the play and the musical and whatnot. I just can't keep
and you
up
have
with it
work
sometimes.
and
Yeah,
you
and
have
it's-
so much stuff going on
I have
on
a
top
lot
of
going
their
on.
schedule too.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to fit it in. And at the same time, when you can't fit in your schedule, you feel so lonely and you feel like you need that person to function. It really sucks.
And sometimes tell me if I'm wrong, but
yeah.
somebody will break up with you and you'll immediately find a way to put it on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll
100%.
immediately find a way to tell yourself this is all your fault, and there's no way you can fix it, no way you can go back. There's no way this person will take you back because of, you know, your mistakes,
Yeah.
when all you really did was try to be the best.
And I've gone to that before. Like, I've gone into relationships because I've been so alone. You know.
See,
I
I'm
feel-
very selective when it comes to
Same.
relationships. I'm willing to wait and be patient, but I want to make sure it's the right one because
Exactly.
every single time I go into a relationship, it's me putting in all the effort and everything. And one time, like, I mean, I do this like every time. I will just stop talking to them and
And see if
wait for them to respond, and then
Yep.
they're always like, "Hey, why did we stop talking?" And I'm like, "I waited for you to start
Yeah.
that conversation.
Yeah. You stopped talking-
That
You stopped
conversation
talking,
never
yeah.
happened. Therefore, we stopped talking."
You stopped
know?
talking to me. I didn't stop talking.
Yeah, that's your fault,
Yeah,
not
that's
mine.
your fault.
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna chase you because you clearly gave me the sign that you're not the one. you
Yeah.
know?
See, with me, you know, my biggest fear being alone, one of my biggest.
Yeah.
One way that I personally am going to try to work on that is by putting myself alone and just focusing on my self-happiness and, you know, being with my friends and enjoying the rest of what I have, because you don't know when it's over.
That's what I've started doing too. You know, I'm not in a relationship right now, so I've been focusing on myself a lot. Like, I've been focusing on, I'm alone. How can I make the situation better by myself?
And I feel like the past 4 years I've always relied on somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I've been too. And I forgot to say that early on, but I'm doing much better.
Yeah.
Just because I've felt the need to be in a relationship. I don't need to be in a relationship, but I felt the need to be in one to feel better and, like, to function. I don't need that. Like, I can tell now that I don't need someone to feel better, or I don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. And that's what I kept telling myself. Like, I need to be with this person to be happy. And that's not how it is.
And it-
Yeah, you'll go through a rough time afterwards, but
Yeah.
then once you get over it, you realize you're like, yeah, I guess I'm fine without it.
Yeah.
It is a little lonely, but you still have other people around you, you know.
And it sucks because with those attachment issues, like I can get attached quickly, and that's not good. It's not good at all. And it sucks for me because,
yeah,
you know, other people are like, dude, just slow down.
I get that all the time. Yeah.
Take your time. And I want to, but, you know, there's also that thing where you just, like, you're so afraid of losing them that you constantly and constantly try to push this so-called relationship or love on them, and then they finally, it breaks them. And then
stop.
and then
And
not
that's-
only is that going to break them, but it's going to break you in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where like controlling relationships come from. Like they're so protective and don't want to lose it that's the reason they lost it. And it's hard to accept that, to be honest.
That's a big thing for me. I get pretty jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
I get nervous because, like I said,
Yeah.
trust issues. Like I know I have it, and it bothers me so much. It's
Yeah.
really when it comes to just relationships. But
That's what it's kind of like for me. I get nervous that, it's not even that I think they're gonna cheat on me. It's just like, I don't know. It's just myself. I'm not insecure. It's just like I don't want them to leave me.
Yeah.
exactly.
It's weird. It's nothing like I don't think they're gonna cheat on me. I don't think this is gonna happen. But
It's just
What if they're-
it's
what
the
if they're
thought
with
of what
this-
if though.
Yeah, what if they're
that's
with
what it
this-
is for me.
It's all about what ifs.
what if they're with this person and they figure out that they don't like me anymore? Like that's how I thought about it before. It's not that I think they're
Yeah.
gonna cheat on me or anything.
Maybe they're just going to switch up.
Yeah, but
or maybe they're getting bored, and you feel like
You can't do anything.
Yeah,
that's where the
exactly.
abandonment issues come in. You're like, are they gonna leave
you
me?
can't change yourself. You can't
Yeah.
can't do anything to help
Yeah.
it.
Exactly. That definitely played a big part in me being depressed.
So like I'm going to college next year, right? And the only thing that I've been scared about for college, I'm not worried about anything else but this, is being alone.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'll have Braden and you guys once you get there, but up until then,
You know
I'm-
what you're gonna do.
I'm worried about
I'm
that
gonna be alone.
because we've grown up in a small town where you know everybody, whether you're friends or not.
And you're
you
with
know
everybody.
You see them every day.
Yeah.
But a big college, how do you go from making friends just because they're around you to having to go out of your way to make friends?
Yeah.
that is so hard. Like I've never had to go farther than 5 feet to talk to somebody, and now I have to
Yeah.
make the effort, and I'm scared for that.
I have to look for friends. You kind of just when you're growing up like this, I feel like it's pretty difficult for people who are like new. You know what I mean? Is looking for friends. But it's weird just growing up in this town where you just know everyone, you're friends with
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, like seriously, like working at Carlson's for 2 years, I know everybody from like 60 to like 10. Like
Yeah.
seriously, like you see people come in and out, and I know everybody in this like 2,000 population town because you see them a lot.
You see them
but,
every day.
Yeah, how do you go out of your way in a school that has 20,000 people?
And I'm not really scared to go out and meet new people, but it's just the fact of the rejection feeling.
Yeah. You don't want to
know.
get rejected when you try to become friends with them.
Sometimes you feel like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
And I've always had that mindset in the back of my head that there's always something I could fix. There's always
Exactly.
something I could do
Yes.
to be better or to be in that friend group or be with that person. But is there?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like what?
How do you know until you're told it? Right.
My biggest thing is I try to conform to people. Like I do my best, even if I'm lying to myself, I do my best to try to be friends with someone. And I've recently realized that that's not how it's supposed to be, and I've made friends because of it. But I would push this narrative on myself that I should be like this because that's what they like and they're friends. Or I'll be stupid and goofy because I want to be friends with Bryce or something.
Yeah.
You know,
If they want to be
You call
like
me
your
stupid
friend,
and goofy?
No. I'm just saying, like, or I'll be here. I'll be nice and gentle because I want to be friends with Bryce.
Gentle.
Oh, but it's this narrative that you're telling yourself that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
and if they want to be your friends, they will stick around.
Yeah.
And that all ties into mental health because it's all that is you in the back of your head, and you telling yourself you can do something, even if in the back of your head you tell yourself you can't.
Yeah.
You have to overcome it. If you don't overcome it, it's gonna eat you alive.
It's gonna eat
Yep.
you alive. You're gonna be depressed. You're gonna
It's
have a
gonna
lonely feeling.
it's gonna be bad
Yeah.
because I've had it happen to me and
Yeah.
it sucks, and I don't want it to happen next year.
Yeah, and like for me, like meeting someone and being in a college as big as it is, I kind of have like a fear of crowds.
A
I'm
fear
like-
of cra-
yeah, I get
Yeah.
anxious. I get paranoid. I feel like people are watching me when I'm in a crowd. So it's like,
You feel like you're constantly being judged, maybe.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, all the time. And I mean, I get that fear all the time. So like when I go up to meet people, it's like, are they gonna judge me for what I look like, or like, are they gonna judge me because I'm like my hair or something like that. Something stupid. I've always been nitpicky
Yeah.
and perfect, like try to be perfect about everything, but yeah.
Bro, for everybody that's ever judged me and stuff,
Yeah.
I always just try to say I'm gonna prove them wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the thing I live by, prove them wrong.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
on that note, guys, I think we're going to end it off. It's a really good talk. I'm not going to lie.
I really
that was a good
enjoyed this
I
one.
really enjoyed talking to you guys about
Yeah.
this stuff. It's really deep.
I had one topic, but we kind of moved on past it. Can I bring it up real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah.
Okay, like I really had nothing to input on this episode until we talked about separation.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it, but my dad leaves for work a lot.
Oh yeah.
And,
Does that?
and that kind of gets me hard because it leaves just me and my mom. My sister's moved out, and I mean, like, literally, to last night, my dad was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm going up to Kansas City for 3 weeks.
Oh.
I'm leaving tomorrow."
Yeah. See, I can
And-
see where that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
kinda hits you.
and like, I don't know if he's known for a while. I don't know if it just came up, but like, it hits me so fast, and then he's gone, and then we have to go like 3 weeks without him. And like, when he went up to Des Moines for like, I don't know if it was like 6, 7, 8, 9 months. I don't know how long it was, but it was like I'm just gonna say 8 months, right? And he only came back every weekend, which is like super relieving that I get to see him over the weekends. But it got me because like I feel like that's where my separation issues. come
Yeah,
from. I
yeah.
mean, not that's where it comes from, but that adds on to it
It's
because
just
like
like-
I miss him. I'm not
It
gonna
could be
lie.
a source. Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
That'll make you
Yeah.
very sad, depressed, lonely. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Well, there was my input.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, on that note, I think we're going to sign off. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.
Thank you for watching.
Peace.
Peace.